Pat's Day.
What is happening, guys? Welcome to the Republic of Players podcast, episode 90. We're back for another week, consistently here week in, week out. We've got some new.
We missed last week.
Got some new tags down here. The show has been consistent. I, on the other hand, have not been. I am not doing too bad now. Last week was just you wouldn't get away with anything in this list.
So none of it. I wasn't here either. None of us were. Yep. We're all inconsistents here. We're the inconsistent podcast. That's what it's called. It'd be great.
Consistently inconsistent.
Consistently inconsistent. They're not flashing. I'm telling you.
My name is Ronan. We have the usual crew, Mr. Paddy Toner with his flashing lights in the black.
They're not actually flashing.
The one over there isn't flashing. The one over beside your computer to the left.
No, because that's not on. They're not flashing. I swear. I swear they're not flashing. It's weird. Wait, like they're closer to you. It's because it's just the camera. See it?
Yeah, but they are flashing to us. They are.
Yes, they are, but they're not actually flashing. All right.
We don't
like them.
It's the light. If you want to get one of these now, it's in the link in the description.
Keep them on green.
Straight up there. There, that's flashing.
Yeah.
That's Paddy and his new lights. We have
I'm flashing.
Aidan McCallion. What's happening, Aidan?
What's the story, Irish lad?
It's been a fun week. Not done too much. We have a new podcast.
Another one.
Yeah, we have a new podcast. That's one thing that happened this week. So if anyone's interested in hearing us talk, me, Paddy, Tink, and Brian talk about the Justice League and Falcon and Winter Soldier, you can check that out on our YouTube page.
Yeah, it's right here. The next one down, probably. The last one video.
Is that canon, right?
Is that canon? Episode 2.
Oh, Pat Curley. What's happening, buddy?
Oh, not too bad. Being very lazy, as you do during COVID.
Yeah.
As you do during COVID. It's like it was here years ago as well.
Laziness didn't exist at all.
No, not before COVID.
So we will get on to our starting section. If anyone in the chat can come up with a name for this, I had sleepless nights trying to think of a name for this next section, but it's
sleepless nights. I was up gaming.
What we're playing or what we recommend. So we're talking about video games and maybe a TV show that people are watching, or a movie, or just an activity that people would recommend. I don't know. The recommend segment of the show.
The recommendation.
The loot box. Yeah, I think that would go down. Probably have some controversial comments in the chat with that one.
The DLC. Microtransactions.
So is this your recommendation, Aidan?
No,
for all the games to have.
That'd be really funny.
Aidan, what do you recommend people check out this week?
Okay, so I'm going to recommend a wrestling company. For anybody who's ever liked wrestling and or still does and hasn't been watching AEW, I think now is the time to start. I'm particularly going to recommend the episode of Dynamite from St. Patrick's Day night, which had, as far as I can tell, the first televised women's hardcore main event match, and it was truly incredible. There's Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa had a match, and they literally tore the house down. They battered each other.
Was there blood?
There was lots of blood. There was thumbtacks. There was going through the barrier and going through tables. It was a sight to behold. AEW has reinvigorated my love of wrestling. It's the first time since I was in college that I'm now watching a show live every week. It has been a true breath of fresh air.
Sounds like a Mankind-esque style of wrestling.
The match reminded me of when Mankind and Triple H had their match in 2000. What
a match!
Yeah, exactly. It was that level. It was a star-making performance. There's a couple
pedigree onto the thumbtacks was fairly legendary. Didn't he get up and there was a thumbtack just stuck into his forehead?
Yeah, Mick Foley's the man. And in fact, it was the day afterwards. Mick Foley on Twitter put over this match as creating 2 new hardcore legends.
Brilliant!
It was
wow.
Just general, yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's really, really great.
A nice recommendation.
It's probably because they're allowed to get away with it, are they? WWE aren't really allowed to get away with it.
No, WWE, I find, have been so stagnant for the past couple of years. I've been watching just the main shows, basically. And it does seem to be Vince McMahon's an old man who's completely out of touch. But yeah, AEW was created a couple of years ago. It is owned by the man who owns Fulham, funnily enough, Tony Khan. So yeah, he has all the money. And even during the pandemic, they've been putting on really cool. In the Jaguar Stadium, they also own the Jaguars in Florida. Their stadium has an amphitheater, so they've been able to put on shows through the whole thing, and they have people spaced out in the crowds. It's a 18,000 seat arena, and they have like 900 people there. So they've been having really sort of successful, like well socially distanced shows, and it's sort of for a long time it was the only show with still having any crowd noise. And I've watching wrestling without any crowd noise is depressing. So they've been excellent. Their pay-per-view a couple of weeks ago, Revolution, was incredible.
Do they have like a weekly, like a SmackDown-esque show? What's it called?
AEW Dynamite.
AEW Dynamite. Perfect. When's it on? Sunday mornings?
It's on Wednesday night. Wednesday night at 1 p.m. It's on. And if anybody's interested, Fight TV lets you view them all live for, I think it's $4.50 a month.
It's not bad, is it?
Yeah, and it's there, and they also, that's how you get their pay-per-views. Fight TV is a fantastic service. They have a really great website.
Awesome, great recommendation. Then. Pat, what have you been playing in terms of recommendations?
Well,
for our...
I finally got my hands on Persona 5 Strikers, which I've been dying to play for months. It took a month to come in the post, which was really distressing. I just wanted to play it. I pre-ordered. I thought I'd get it day one. It didn't come. I waited. It came, and now I'm a very happy man because, my God, it's so good. Like I was expecting it to be a fun Dynasty Warriors style game because it's being developed by the same guys that did the Dynasty Warriors games.
I love those games.
But it's much better. Yeah, like I enjoy my... Listen, I always go back to a Dynasty Warriors game every year because they're just so much fun to kill loads of people.
Dynasty Warriors was the first... I believe it was the first like big battle war game that I ever played. And I'm like, this is something very, very different. A lot of fun.
But with Persona...
The first level...
Is Persona similar?
It has the combo structure and all that, and you have a good few enemies on screen, but they also have that sort of turn-based element to it where you can summon your persona, it stops time, and you can then select where you want your move to sort of do its damage, which is it's just so cool. It's like it's like making it go into the sort of live action, like real time combat, but also keeping the turn based to a certain extent. It's just so well done, and it's actually kind of hard. Like I've played a good few Dynasty Warriors games, and usually when you play them on the harder difficulties, that's where it starts to get a bit, pressured. But this I was playing on normal, and I got defeated a few times when I wasn't paying attention. So you do have to pay a bit of attention when you're doing it. But oh man, like it's just so good. Like it's a sequel to the original Persona 5.
So it's all right. So you're saying.
Oh man, it's brilliant. But it's strange how there's no connection to Royale, which I don't want to spoil things, but like I don't think this is actually spoiled, so I think I can get away with it. But the sort of themes of Royale with the last semester, where they have a different style of boss, that theme is more consistent in Strikers. So it feels like it would have been better if they included the story of Royale into it, because then it would just sort of connect much better, in my opinion. And also the fact that like they released Royale and then decided like just to cut it is just strange. It just feels out of touch to a certain extent.
And but like they were both developed at the same time.
Yeah, but like you think like they would know what's going on up to a certain point. But it's brilliant. It's a proper sequel to the original Persona 5. Yes, like the one thing that is different definitely is the confidants. Since you've already maxed out your confidants, what they have here is bond points. So you build up your bonds through talking to characters, going out and eating like you normally would do, or something like that, or beating boss battles.
The actual word. Confidants.
Confidants, yeah.
Is it?
You go out and you
confidants. Confidant.
Get your confidants on.
I got my confidants on.
But the bonding system is different. It's more, you don't go out separately with characters. You have some events that you can go searching for, and then there's other events that will happen as you play the story. But it's so nice to see all these characters get back together, and that like they're going on a road trip, and it makes me want to go on a road trip, and I just want COVID to end. I just want to go out and see people again. This game also made me very depressed to a certain point.
Oh,
like,
here
I
we
was
go.
just
It's
like,
turning, lads. It's turning.
you know, I wish
Where's the confidants?
I wish I could go to my confidants. But no, it made me just wish that I could just get up tomorrow, go see my friends, and go, hey, let's get a van, let's travel the country. It'll be fun. But you can't do that, sadly, at the moment. But
you're still young. Get yourself an out visa to Australia. They're open at the minute, and go off with you.
Australia's going to a concert this weekend.
But
so weird.
Best place ever to go with a van.
But yeah, Persona 5 Strikers, brilliant game. If you enjoyed the other Persona 5 games, buy this. It's logical. I will say though, thank God I have it for PS5, because like Jesus, like I know it's for PS4 and Switch, but PS5, this is the first game I put in and went, man, the load times are quick. And you just realize it's so much. Like usually when you're waiting to get into the Velvet Room in the previous games, it's like, this is nice music, but I'm waiting a long time. This is like just freaking snapping the fingers, and like you're in there and like, I didn't even get nice music. This is disappointing. But also, I get to do things rather quickly now. So go play Persona 5 Strikers. Like, and if you haven't played Persona 5, go play Persona 5, and then go play Persona 5 Strikers. That's let's do it.
Go play Persona 5.
PS1 to PS2. Oh, look at those graphics. PS2 to PS3. Oh, look at those graphics. PS3 to PS4. Look at those graphics. PS4 to PS5. It's so quick.
Yeah. to me, that's the best. Said. The best technical upgrade, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's for shizzle. Paddy.
I can't wait till somebody releases Bloodborne that loads fast. That'll be amazing.
At the weekend, me and Ronan hosted a FIFA tournament on Ronan's channel. It was good crack.
It was good.
It was a lot of fun.
Good.
A lot of fun, as usual, as always.
It was it was great crack. People enjoyed it. A pro FIFA player won. Surprise. He absolutely destroyed everyone he met.
I see you tag him on Twitter then saying that he got bet like 19-0 or something. Is that a different fella?
No, that wasn't me anyway.
No, I thought it was the same fella. Anyway. Maybe I'm just reading things.
Yeah, I was probably starting a fight with somebody else on Twitter.
Good
place to do it.
I love the way Ronan picked the one day with you from 2012.
Which?
The picture with him from 2012 on it.
Oh, you took my Twitter photo?
Yeah.
I thought
I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah,
it does. Pat one looks like he's going really fast.
Looks like a superhero.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it's the flowing.
It's the flowing hair.
That should be on any of the dating sites that you're on. Just throw that one up, Pat.
That's right. Tinder profile. That's it.
Oh, you've killed him.
He's killed him. He's dead now.
Don't use any of the other ones, Pat, because it's not going to work. That's the one.
I decided to throw on.
Just glad in the computer.
Yeah, don't put it on the computer. We need the computer, Pat. We need the computer.
Don't do it on the computer.
It's bad enough already with the internet. Old habits die hard.
I'm drinking my first can of Coke in about 6 years. So.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, look at this.
Sponsored by
Sponsored by
Donegal's finest.
What is it? Football special?
It is football special.
This can will be free to somebody in the audience after.
If you donate €20.
That's out of reason, is he?
No, I might have the reason.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I must have
radio silence. We have to wait for this guy, so we do. We have to wait. There we go.
Oh no, I have to move the name tags around. Oh.
You can move me back.
Move him back.
Move me back
Move you
instead.
back, okay.
We're all over the place. All of us move.
I can't move you because there's somebody else in your way.
What do you mean? Move me and Pat, then move Aiden and Pat. Like it's like doing Jenga.
Oh no. Okay, that was this isn't working. It just keeps moving everyone around him. Okay, we're back.
Oh my god.
We're back.
Hopefully my camera doesn't go off again then.
I was watching the stream.
I was moving one and then it had Aiden like flick to the top. I said, what the?
I was playing Fortnite at the weekend. I was playing some Apex Legends and they're still as awesome as ever. I decided to throw them back on. I was for a bit of boredom on Saturday night.
Has much changed those games?
Not really, no. The map's kind of, since the second season came out of Fortnite, it's the same map. Apex Legends, I think the map has changed a bit as far as I remember, but they're still great fun, great games to play. Love jumping on, love the speed, still able to build like an absolute legend. So it's grand. It's a great game.
Apex, I always find Apex a game that just felt good.
Yeah,
Apex
slide.
is a good game.
Yeah, it's that slide. Oh, 100%.
Speed, the slide, everyone of that. They're brilliant games. Do you know as well? It's more like because I was on with a few of my mates like to download it again and just to jump on, even just to have a bit of crack, not take it too seriously, just to have playing some games would be good. Probably play again this weekend if he's around.
Nice.
Yourself.
What have I been doing? Just kind of the usual stuff. I'm back into an F1, a kind of a small F1 league, getting prepped up for the Trop Championships. Hopefully they're coming soon. Racing in Austria actually tomorrow. Something that I am doing tomorrow that's interesting is myself and Ushin are playing It Takes Two co-op. We're going to be playing that on stream. It's released tomorrow. That was one of the games that I was looking forward to in the previous video that Pat put together. The new one of those for April is coming out when, Pat? Soon?
I'm gonna say 29th, but don't hold me to that.
No worries. But no, good video. We all have our picks for April, but that was the one that I picked for this month, and I'm looking forward to playing that. It's a game that is co-op, split screen. It's the same developers as A Way Out, the Prison Break game. And yeah, looking forward to jumping in with Ushin with that one. Yeah. A recommendation is it's actually a TV show that I've been checking out this week, and I've got to the 3rd episode, and it's called Your Honor. And it is
I watched it.
It's good. It's look, some bits are a little bit over the top. Bryan Cranston is the main actor. I suppose not to spoil anything, the premise is he is a judge. First episode, he's a judge. His son gets into a little bit of bother. They're bringing him to the cop station, and they see that the person that he's in bother with is a head of one of the most vicious gangs in the area. So he basically puts him back in the car and goes on the run with him, and it's really good. Bryan Cranston is a very good actor, and there's other actors in it that are extremely good as well. There's a couple of things that are a little bit over the top that I found in the previous episode, number 3, but no, I'm enjoying it. I definitely recommend anyone to check it out. I don't think it's too long, is it, Paddy?
I think it's like 10 episodes. I watched like 6 episodes and then I couldn't watch it anymore. If you get past it, like let me know, because it's grand. Like the premise is good, the start was good, but I think I thought it was gonna be something different. I thought it was gonna be the judge has to get his son off in a courtroom situation. I thought that was what it was going to be. But again, some TV shows I think spread themselves out too much, and there's too much. You know what I mean? There's too much. They take too long to get to the point.
It's very similar to, I suppose, the way Breaking Bad sets itself up. It's just a normal guy doing normal things, and then he's thrown into this kind of life of crime. It's very, very similar premise.
I think Breaking Bad's way better, but it's definitely...
Breaking Bad is way better. No, there's definitely no comparison, but it is.
No,
nice
definitely keep going and see what you think of it. I couldn't keep watching it after 6 episodes.
Are they trying for a Breaking Bad thing? Is that the whole get?
I don't think so.
Not really. Like I felt like at the start it was kind of, it had a similar vibe where it's just a normal guy doing normal things, and then something happens, and then he's kind of, He's a
But like I'd say give away but like the whole. I think the start even shows in the advertisement. It's not really spoiling it. It's your man, the young lad kills somebody,
yeah.
then the father's the judge, and the judge is he's after being the judge around that place for years and years and years. So he's after putting these, the gang members down and everything. So he knows everything about them. But like it's a good premise. I just don't think maybe it's just not for me either. That could be another thing. So like other people might love it.
So that's what that and Drive to Survive, the new season was released last week, and I'm just getting through that with the first race of the new season this weekend, which I'm very excited for. For realsies. So F1 is back. Young Mick Schumacher is on the grid, which should make things interesting. And Sunday it's going to be in Bahrain. So it's going to be good.
Is there still tracks closed to them, or is everyone opened up again this year?
Everywhere is open, but usually they start in Australia.
Yeah.
But Australia is towards the end of the season, so it's actually a very, very long season this year. It's 9 months. I think there's 22 rounds. So
making
22.
up revenue from last year, I'd say.
That's it. Like it was a short season last year, so this season it's going to be really long. And yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. There's a lot of changes that are happened that, there's a little bit of controversy going on already. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm looking forward to seeing young Mick Schumacher. It's going to be nice to see that name back in the grid. He's driving for Haas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So isn't that Mercedes' second team, isn't it?
Yeah. So and the thing with Haas now this year is they've got a load of Russian money, and so the thing with Russia is you're not allowed your flag isn't allowed to be represented in any sport. Go check out the Haas vehicle paint job. It's literally a big Russian flag. So there's a young driver along with Mick Schumacher called Mazepin, and he's a young Russian driver. He was in F2, and he's a bit of a bad boy. So he's going to be racing.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be interesting. You see it, Aidan?
No skirts.
Yeah. So they're under investigation for that car already. But yeah.
So how did they get away with that?
Well, that's the thing. Like, they haven't got away with it just yet. But I mean, Russian money, it talks, doesn't it? So we'll move on to news, guys. A little bit of news to get through. A mobile game called Genshin Impact has made $1 billion.
It's also not really right to call it a mobile game, to be fair, because it's out on PC, consoles. PS4, Xbox One.
I think they're just really leaning towards that it made the money mostly on mobile.
Is that what?
I think that's what it is, because there's a gambling aspect to it.
Yeah. The data, as usual, comes from industry analyst Sensor Tower, which found that Genshin Impact need to start playing this game. Reached this lofty figure faster than any other game on the market. Even Behemoth, that is Pokemon Go, with over 4 billion in revenue and counting, took 9 months. Genshin Impact is a gacha game. Essentially, users play the lottery to unlock new characters in its Breath of the Wild style world. Yeah. Anyone play it?
I have played quite a bit of it, actually. It's honestly a very good game until you get to the wall that is the gacha. You can play that game for probably 50 hours without spending any money and have complete, like, a really good time. It's a really nice looking game. It's very heavily inspired by Breath of the Wild. You have the gliding, you have a lot of the movement, but there does become a point where you need to spend a lot of money and then do lotteries to get the good weapons and the good characters. And yeah, I can see how this game made a lot of money really quickly. Can I just say,
what TF is gacha?
Oh, gacha is gacha. I think it's literally the Japanese word for lottery. Gacha games are all about paying in and
gotcha money.
Yeah,
gotcha money.
Yeah, you'll pay a certain amount of currency and you'll get 10 rolls for items, and this can be weapons of different quality, characters of different quality, armors of different quality. Almost always rated in stars. And when you, let's say you roll one and like you'll have a loot pool and there's like 50 3-star items, 5 4-star items and 2 5-star items. And those 5-star items tend to have way less than a 1% chance of coming up. And that's
Right.
gacha games are massive in Asia, absolutely huge.
Must be if they're getting $1 billion.
That
$1
fighting
billion.
game from last year, Pat, what was it called? Grand Blue Fantasy.
Oh,
is
yeah.
that
Game,
world.
right?
Yeah, but that originally comes from a gacha game, and Grand Blue is one of the biggest games in the world, but it's not over here, obviously.
I wish it was over here. Like, they even have an English translation for it in the game, but it's not. You can't get.
Yeah.
All right, Pat.
These games usually have pretty good writing to back up their sort of predatory game.
Predatory. I love it. Just straight from the mobile game. Predatory business.
They are because that feeling of going, I could just go one more time. That only cost me €2 or €3. That feeling is awful when you play these games.
Just one more time.
Yeah.
I got these cheeseburgers, man.
I've said before, I get to be a whale really quickly and stuff, so I cannot pull myself out when I see these things. But yeah, a very good game, but eventually it becomes a very good way to spend a lot of money.
That's what they want.
I've been trying to play this game for so long, but every time, like when I go back to play it, once it has updated, when I go to play it again, a new update has come, and I just can't. I can't play it. It won't let me play it. Like, finish one update.
All I want to do is spend
I'll play
my money.
it in a day or two. I can't even spend money. I can't even get into the game. It's, man, I don't know. Like every time, it's just I must have like the most worst luck when it comes to this game.
The most is worst.
This game updates a lot. That's a thing.
Yeah, but that's a good sign though. I knew that it's getting updated so much, and I know a lot of people are very appreciative of that. But also, like, it's also a funny sounding game from some of the stuff I've seen. Like, I was reading one of the character descriptions there on Twitter, where a dragon basically died from trying to swallow one of the characters because their waistline was too big.
Say that again.
It's the waistline of one of the characters is so big that when a dragon tries to eat her, the dragon chokes and dies. She kills the dragon.
It definitely sounds like an anime kind of like storyline here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's
anime as hell.
It is the premise of anime.
Yeah, but it's a very odd game. When you started off, like the first 50 hours, the story's quite well written, and you wouldn't even realize it's a gacha game for a long time. It's the first gacha game. I think it's the first gacha game that I've played where they have a really good game behind it before they added in the gacha elements.
Yeah. I've never, like, these terms are new to me. Gacha.
Gacha is a huge thing in Japan.
I feel like there's like
if
an
you play
invisible world
any
for
mobile
me.
games.
What? Go on.
If you play any mobile games that have so many gacha elements, like most of the games that I reviewed for Mobile Madness, all over it, they just have gacha elements, and
I think every
some of them
mobile
are
game has
nice.
some kind of,
Yeah.
You want your money, and that's it.
Yeah.
I do play the pool game, and every 5 minutes pops up for like a queue. It's like, why do I want to buy a virtual queue? It's like it does. They all do the same thing here. When you relax yourself, throwing a tender at a virtual stick on the freaking.
But
anyway,
the thing about that game is when you spend that money, you're going to get the queue that they sell you. With this game, you spend that money, and you might get level 3 shoes that are worthless.
They're not all worthless.
No.
Well, I suppose not. Gotcha. Maybe that's what it is. Gotcha.
There's certain characters and roles in games like this that if you have them on your account suddenly becomes worth €100 or €200, no problem.
Yeah. I'd say my Fortnite account's worth a couple of €100.
Probably the first couple of seasons.
I got like the Dark Knight and stuff like that on it. And it's very hard to get, even though I think people have forgot about it because I was on it. And usually when I went on last year, everybody would gather around me to look at me, but they don't do that anymore. They all forgot. They all forgot the old guy in the corner. What?
Boomer.
Yeah, rage quit. Come here, 12-year-old. That sounds wrong.
Bow to your master. Moving on.
Moving on swiftly.
The official Twitter account for no, let's just keep it going here, pal. Let's get off that one. The official Twitter account from Turtle Rock's upcoming Back for Blood has just revealed that the game is being delayed for its initial summer 2021 release date. The game was originally scheduled to release on June 18th of 2021, but has now been pushed back. While this is certain to disappoint excited fans, there's always a silver lining as well. The new release date has already been revealed, so fans can now expect to see the game launch on October 12th, 2021. This is arguably a more fitting season for a zombie game anyway. Was anybody looking forward to Back to Blood? I know I was looking forward to checking that thing out. Aidan?
I love Left 4 Dead. I'm super excited for this game.
I suppose we're all going to be loads of games. We'd be surprised if we get most games this year. Everyone's going to be pushed back.
Yeah. But if they make this for Halloween, that could be really good for them. That's a true thing.
Yeah, marketing could work.
You think about it, there's not really that many Halloween games, is there?
No, like that Little Nightmares 2 came out recently, and that's a game that's probably not coming out in March. Probably didn't do it any justice.
A lot of people loved it though.
Would horror games not just be represented as Halloween games?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
So the Resident Evil's coming out.
Like proper Halloween though, like like pumpkins and candy and all that.
Oh, like Kingdom Hearts.
I'd be going for a murder and stuff like that. That's Halloween for me. Don't know about you.
I'm not that far into Halloween yet. No, I'm still young and innocent.
I don't like Halloween at all, or Easter, feck Easter, bah humbug.
I really hope this lives up to the hype and like it's a worthy success.
It's still a very popular series of games. Unrealistically popular. Left 4 Dead is.
Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2.
It still holds up as well.
Classic game.
Yeah.
It's
obviously gonna be multiplayer-esque.
It'll be a 4-player survival.
Yeah.
Hopefully
I'm just disappointed it hasn't local co-op though.
It doesn't have local co-op. No, it's social distancing, Pat. They don't want you playing with other people at home anymore.
Don't give them an excuse.
No, hold on.
I'm telling you, it's coming.
Listen, I'll go to my friend's house. I'll stand outside the window and play. It'd be grand. Social distancing acquired.
With your internet, I wouldn't be freaking. I wouldn't be betting on it now, Pat. Bring the mobile broadband, because data.
Well, something that's I suppose available to do now. We've done it recently with a couple of lads. Is LAN parties are really actually very good to do in this day and age. Like surely you can just get them to bring over the PlayStation. I know with Pat's internet it mightn't hold up, but that's what we do. Just bring them over, set them up on the Wi-Fi, and they usually have their own TV, their own PlayStation, and we play Battlefield was the one that we always play, but it a lot of fun. We're only talking about it the other day, doing it for Alien Firestorm, which is supposedly coming out in the summer. So yeah, definitely that's another option if you don't have the local option.
You used to do that a lot with Halo 2, carrying CRTs to a house.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Like,
oh man, some of the best gaming moments in my life were like setting up 5 or 6 people in a house playing Halo.
Yeah, and it was a lot harder back then.
Yeah,
and now it's kind of just bring your system and
we found an old we found an old network switch in the back of our construction studies room in school and robbed it, and we managed to use it for all the LAN games.
Yeah, the switches are handy.
Yeah. Nice. This was like a rack one. It was
nice.
48 ports.
Aidan still has it somewhere, right? You?
I have no idea where it is. I'd love to know. It's probably like an eighth of a gig, like speed. It could probably be useless now.
So, talking about PS5s, guys, it looks like there aren't going to get any easier to come by. That and graphics card going to be very, very difficult to get, as expert warns that the trend is set to continue. The pandemic has forced many semiconductor fabrication plants to close, and with the increased demand for people being at home, experts warn it could be 2022 before things return to semi-normal for supplies. We kind of notice
everything.
It's a little bit upsetting. When
I didn't realize until recently that this has had a major effect on the car industry.
Yeah.
Loads of car factories have just lines and lines of cars waiting for the chip, and they can't go out.
And also their first priority over gaming PCs as well. So it's a difficult time, especially if you're somebody, and a lot of people want to get into PC gaming now and want to build their own PC, and people kind of say it to me nearly every day, and it's like, just, you can get it, you can do it, but it's difficult to get a graphics card.
The 3060s are coming out, and it's like, oh geez, they're such good value.
Yeah,
you can't get any.
Yeah,
it's like, here you go. No,
I'll give a piece of advice to people who are actually looking to build a computer at the moment. If you buy one of the AMD APUs, they're like there's the 4250G, the one
Ryzen's,
end of them. Yeah, those chips have a graphics chip in them. They're not spectacular, but they'll play almost any game that's out new in medium or so settings. So if you need to build a PC this year, you could build one of those and then wait until the graphics cards become available.
Yeah, that's good advice.
That's just if
is there any, like, even going back a little bit, is there any graphics card that are, I suppose, down the ears a little bit that would be worth picking up?
Well, if you want to get a GTX 1080, you can spend 500 quid.
Still a lot of money though.
Yeah, but that's the problem, is that the prices are still high. The prices are high because people know they can only get them.
Honestly, if I didn't need it, I would be so tempted to sell my 1070. I could probably sell it for more than
I think I'm going to do is pick up the 3060 and give my brother my one, because he's not going to be able to get it either. So we get the 10. I'm going to update mine, I think, if I can get it.
Every graphics cards are like gold dust now.
Yeah, I'll just give him that one and buy my own.
I think 980s are still going for 250, 300.
That's it. I see them. I'm so sick of it. You know, PC groups and that, and every time anyone puts it up, it's the laughy face. Every fucking time, it's just, just stop. It's just so annoying. I get it. They're too expensive. We all know. But everyone's putting them up for serious money, and I wouldn't buy one now. My brother's been sitting to build a PC for the last 2 months or whatever. I'm just like, there's no point. So I built it, like, just to get his own graphics card. What can I do?
It's a strange time. Like, it's frustrating for us because all we want to do is upgrade our PCs, and we have money to spend. We just can't spend.
To be honest with you, I'm just sick of hearing about it, all of it. I'm sick of hearing about PlayStation 5s. I'm sick of hearing about graphics cards. We get it.
I get you. Yeah.
Just PlayStation 5s are blowing my bloody brain off. Everybody has to have got one by now. Shut the fuck up. I'm sorry, shut the fuck up. It's so annoying.
Also, if people don't know, throw your name into our Currys. They tend to have like a 10 to 12 day waiting list, and people are tend to be getting
Currys are definitely the easiest one to get one now. I've used loads of times. Just all you have to do is walk in, put your name down, and they get back to you. That's it.
Doesn't that push console gaming back to the forefront, where just before the pandemic, PC gaming was really kind of creeping to being the thing to do, where now it's not really an option for people that are just getting into it. So console gaming is...
I think people can wait too, though.
The thing is, with PC gaming, it's not even that the supplies are too low. There has been an unprecedented demand.
Mm-hmm.
That 2020 was the biggest sales year for PC and PC hardware in the past 15 years.
Yeah, but we're not talking about guys at home, wanting to game. We're talking about massive companies getting set for, home work.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, true. That's a good point.
Yeah,
but it's definitely about both. Like,
but everyone's like, with cameras, streaming gear, everyone wants to be a streamer now. Everybody wants to be content creators. Everybody wants this. That is a lot to do with his people being at home, thinking that I've got to make a job from home these now. That's it.
Yeah, what a bad time to start being a streamer.
Yeah,
everyone's doing it. The initial releases of the graphics cards actually weren't low numbers. They were pretty high numbers, and they just sold it instantly. They didn't expect the demand after the first week. Like the amount that was sold right away for those graphics cards was sort of comparable to the last 2 generations of graphics cards.
Is it 3060 even as good as they say it is?
Yeah,
it is. Because I was seeing stats there, and the 2080 was outbeaten and stuff.
That's a €900 graphics card.
Is it that way?
Yeah, that's why.
That makes sense then.
You're getting the performance of the 3070 is a €500 graphics card that was outperforming 2080 Ti's, and they were 1100.
All right, that's what the comparison. I'm wrong there. Yeah.
Well,
fair enough.
So the next iteration of Nintendo Switch hardware will include an upgraded NVIDIA chip, speaking of the devil, and support the chip maker's deep learning super sampling DLSS technology. Bloomberg reported on Tuesday. That feature will allow the upgraded Nintendo Switch to output 4K visual when docked and plugged into a TV, reports say. The new Switch, which has not officially been announced by Nintendo, will reportedly include a 7-inch OLED screen and 720p resolution and could cost upward of $399.99, analysts told Bloomberg. The current version of the Nintendo Switch sells for its original launch price of $299.99, while the Switch Lite pictured above sells for $199.99. I have the Switch Lite. What's up? What did I say there? I said something.
You read pictured above.
Lads, the teleprompter.
Don't even talk to me about the teleprompter crap. I need to start writing these reports myself. I have a Switch and I absolutely love it, to be honest with you. I'm starting to play it more and more. It's an unbelievable system. Yeah, the pictures above there, guys.
The DLSS stuff is no joke as well. It allows you to output your games at like 640p and then upscale them straight to 4K. It's nice. It's one of the technologies that are in the 30 series cards.
Reportedly.
It's like, are people really bothered about 4K? And like, I'm not going to even talk about 8K. I'm just going to talk about 4K because like my TV can't even go at 60 hertz properly, and I don't care.
I have a 4K TV, and I don't care, Pat.
I will say this about the Switch: the Switch docked through a 4K TV does leave a bit to be desired. It's quite muddy looking.
Okay.
That is the one thing I will say.
It's just a sales point, isn't it?
They have
to have a sales point. Why you want to buy a new TV? Why you want to buy this brand new? Why you need this? Why you need that? It's 4K.
I think it boils down to also the size of your monitor as well. Like my TV is 4K. It's a 50-inch TV, but I have a gaming monitor that's 24-inch and it's 1080p, and I love the gaming monitor. You know, I'm not sitting here going, I'd love a 4K monitor for my gaming. It'd be nice, but again, it's a novelty that I don't need. I'd rather like 2 or 3 1080p monitors
It kind of goes back to that what you were saying about the different stages of graphics on the PlayStation. Yeah. It's the same as a TV. It jumped from one section to the other, and then it's not that big of a deal anymore. Yeah. It's the same thing for TV, really, isn't it?
It really
you're not going to go back to CRT with the video player on it with the lines through it and shit, compared to nowadays where you're watching SD and you're like, that's just not good enough.
just in defense of CRTs now, because the laser guns back in the day for like Time Crisis and everything, I'm not sure what. Yeah, I'm just saying, but they were brilliant on CRTs.
They don't work on normal TVs.
I know, which is really flipping frustrating because
that's why you keep a CRT if you want to do retro gaming.
Yeah, especially if you can get yourself in the hands of a Sony Trinitron, I would not sell that for anything.
Any of them at all. I understand the game. That duck game up there, that's good. That's good fun. Yeah. They're all good fun. The PlayStation was great fun as well. But that's it. I'm not. Everything has their place, Pat. Everything has their place. CRTs, HD TVs, 4K TVs, 8K TVs. 8K.
There's a series of Trinitron. There are a series of 1080i CRTs that Sony made for professional work.
Sony's. I've seen them TVs. They are ridiculously good.
Yeah, they're so expensive.
They're so nice. The lads had them for I don't know if it's the exact one, but the lads had them what you call studio TVs, or you want to call them.
Yeah, that's exactly, yeah.
And they're unbelievable. Seeing watching playing Street Fighter on them or something unreal. Remember them?
Looks so good.
Did they be what are they called? The gaming museum.
Oh yeah,
that's what they call them.
Oh, they would definitely have them.
Yeah, they had them. They were really nice, and they were like the best looking TVs you get. You can get cheaper ones as well, but they're really nice as well.
Yeah.
Just get what you can afford.
Yeah.
Like I like CRTs. I like playing Nintendo on the CRTs as well. It's better.
Oh yeah, all games really do look lovely on them.
Like remember you seen it, Aidan, that day you're in here. I had the SNES plugged into the TV, and it didn't look bad.
Yeah.
It didn't look bad at all. It's grand. I have an upscaler too, but I don't think I had it on that day.
Anywho. Last bit of news, I believe. Oh no, there's a couple of more segments. So Reggie Fils-Aimé is stepping down from his role at GameStop. The former Nintendo of America president is retiring from his position at GameStop only 12 months after starting it. He must have got a big paycheck, guys. GameStop future is not fully known, but the former Nintendo leader still has his hand in many different areas. Last March, Phil Ame joined GameStop's board of directors with his breadth of video game knowledge. Coming from years of Nintendo experience, Phil Ame brought a unique perspective to the table. However, just barely a year later, he is retiring from the position. There he is. We have a picture of him. Big smile on his head. Yeah.
Mustn't have been unique enough if it was only a year.
Well, GameStop as a company is up in the air at the minute. Like,
it's so hard to know what's going on with that company.
Yeah, like they're going through that thing with the stock market as well. It's still going on to this day.
They're getting help them or might kill them.
Yeah, their stock. I was only checking it there before we start. What's it on now? So $185 a stock, and this morning it was at $123. So like it's all over the place. It's up and down, and there might be what is a short position is opened by hedge funders, and that means that they're squeezing the stock, or not squeezing stock. They're trying to drive the stock down that it goes bankruptcy, and then you have normal retail investors coming in trying to drive the stock up. So they're fighting against each other, and it's keeping them fresh in the tabloids. And then they're on about they're going to go digital. They're on about changing their whole outlook. They're trying to keep themselves afloat. They're basically fighting what happened to Activision happened to all the rest of them. And it's kind of, I thought that he was going to make a big difference to them last year. I really did. But obviously, the year that was in it, maybe he couldn't do anything. Maybe didn't hit targets because the only
Extravision really did hold out until the very last second. Didn't
yeah, my brother was actually working there the day it went under. And it was like they didn't even know what was happening, and they were just told that they're out. And that's it. The company's closing down.
There's an Extravision in Mullingar, and it still has the signs and stuff at the front. And we spent like hours of our childhood in that place.
I think there's actually they said Blockbuster. I think there's actually one Blockbuster in America left.
It's Alaska.
Is Alaska? Yeah, they kept it. They kept it open. But it's I don't know.
Like I know we'll be talking about the future of video games, but the past of the stuff that I remember is going into a store like that and renting a game for a week, and
there was a lot of them independent like video game stores as well, or like rental stores.
My mum worked in one called Video Box for years, and
there was loads of them in the time we were in buying that.
There was a Nintendo 64 there for rent. You used to be able to rent consoles.
I remember my uncle when I first was I didn't know you could do it, but he was renting video recorders. Bringing them up. You could probably rent. I don't know. Back then, you could probably rent TVs and everything if you wanted to. Nuts. Back in my day.
We're gone to that stage,
CRTs. I rented a CRT.
So the next bit of news is actually quite an interesting one. So a movie based on Ghost of Tsushima is in the works, with John Wick's Chad Stahelski attached to the director.
They're not easy on you tonight,
they're all
not easy on you.
They're killing me today. Attached to the director, according to a report from Deadline. Sony have officially announced the movie in a blog post. That's an interesting one. I haven't actually played Ghost of Tsushima, and it's
I really thought that'd be a game you'd be mad to play.
I am mad to play it. I just haven't played it yet. Anyone play it?
I've played bits of it.
Yeah.
And the combat in it is actually quite fun, and I enjoyed my time with it. I played it for about an hour or two over at a friend's, and really enjoyed it. Beautiful game, very gorgeous. Like it's stunning. Like
on your CRT, Pat.
Oh, my CRT, sorry.
IRC.
I need to downscale everything, so I do these days, just to make it look more pristine.
I only watched a bit of that game, but I noticed that the fastest fast travel I've ever seen for like a PS4.
Nice. So I'm guessing, when's this film come out?
The movie is coming from Sony Pictures and PlayStation Productions, the internal company that is charged with adapting Sony's video game franchises for TV and film. PlayStation Productions is also behind the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland and the Last of Us TV show with HBO. Sucker Punch, the developer of Ghost of Tsushima, is an executive producer on the movie. Oh yeah, nice. That's good. So they're linked with the actual movie. That's always good to here.
Yeah.
We're excited to be partnered with Chad and 8711 Entertainment to bring their vision of Jin's story to the big screen. PlayStation Productions boss Ashad Bazilbash said, "We love working with creative partners like Chad who have a passion for our games, ensuring we can create rich adaptations that will excite our fans and new audiences." This is exciting, guys. I'm actually interested in checking this game out because I've a little bit of lull in the gaming catalog. I might pick this one up this week just to check it out.
Something to play in the PS5.
Something to play in the PS5. Is it PS5 or is it just a PS4 version
It's
upscaled?
a PS4 game, yeah.
Probably
It'll just be upscaled, yeah.
Is it on
Just
that
faster.
PS4 library
PS
thing?
Now. PS
No,
Now.
it's not.
Oh.
The PS4, you're talking about the PS Plus one, aren't you?
Yeah, the one where you get a load of PS4 games free.
Yeah, it's nah. I think like the most recent game to have on that is probably like God of War.
Oh, okay.
That's a good way to go. Well, I'll probably just wait for the Let's Play when it comes out on HBO. We're okay with that. Straight through to watch it. That'd be great.
And the last piece here says game director Nate
Just
Fox.
before we, on the Ghost of Tsushima thing there, I was wondering, do you think they'll actually get actors that acted in the game
I
to
always
play
like
the characters because they're
yeah.
literally because like they look exactly like themselves like that in real life. Because
Wouldn't you said the same though about
facial
the Last
capture
of
and all
Us characters, no?
Here I'd love to see Troy Baker act like on a TV series like that. He's freaking brilliant and he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Weird seeing Nolan North in real TV, and I've seen that a couple of times. It's just odd that his face showed up on a show.
What a guy.
What a guy. Some voice. $1 million voice. Game director Nate Fox added, "The idea of translating our game into a new medium is exciting and we're intrigued by the possibilities. We've all been brought to tears in a movie theater surrounded by strangers. Thanks a lot, E.T. We've all gone to a movie on opening night when a crowd is so excited that they cheer as the lights go down. Never happened in an Irish cinema that I've ever been in.
Cheesiest bit of. Like,
Do you know where it nearly happened? It nearly happened in Infinity War. There was kind of like a little clap at I think the part where...
I was actually in Mullen Garrison. We're watching Revenge of the Sith, and it happened after that.
Wow, nice. Yeah, do you know when Thor grabs the hammer and he strikes and he does the trademark? There was nearly but it never. People were just too afraid. I'd say if we got back into cinema now to do it, they'd appreciate what they have. It's a group experience that isn't replicated anywhere else. To think that we could sit in the theater someday watching Jin Sakai up on the big screen is amazing. We'd all relive his tense transformation into the ghost from a whole new vantage point. That is Jin Sakai. That's the main character of the game, is it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looks
good. Exciting.
Spoilers.
You're getting all these strange names tonight, so you are.
I am, yeah, Jim Sakai. I wasn't too bad with that one, though. I don't know whether I said Phil's Ame right. Reggie Phil's Ame. Was that right?
It's Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Oh, yeah. I thought I got that wrong. All right. Fils-Aimé with a silent L.
I know the L is such a weird one.
You got to write a little, this L is silent, Paddy. Give me the link there for that one.
I wouldn't know myself.
Yeah.
This B is silent.
A little note.
Add.
A little highlighted note for me.
Yeah, this E is silent.
It's the only way I'll get it. So yeah, that's a nice bit of news there at the end. They seem to be doing a lot in terms of the Sony games being turned into. Well, it's good.
Leak it for all it's worth. Bleed it.
We'll see how we get on. What's the first one to come out? Uncharted?
I think Uncharted's first.
It's finished, isn't it? Or is it? Are they still making it?
Definitely filming last year, so it's probably finished filming.
Tom Holland is a hell of a lot of fun, so
yeah,
it's a good.
He's
good
great.
Pick.
Batman's finished filming, isn't it? Just reminded me. Batman finished filming last week. That's right.
Oh yeah,
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah,
definitely. So, guys, our topic of the week is what is the future of gaming? So we're going to chat a little bit about what we think gaming is going to be in 10, 15, 20 years' time. Is it going to be much different?
I say it's going to be augmented reality. I think that's going to be the next big thing that everyone's going to be getting into all the time.
Okay.
I think you're probably right in general. I think that's the next big thing in tech.
Yeah, I think that's where everyone's going to be going to. I'd say you'd be on a Saturday night, you'd be putting on the old and you'd be playing games rather than sitting here PC. And even though we do it now, but it'd be a lot. I say it's going to be more to the forefront. That's everyone doing, especially how far, even now, how good it looks. Imagine what's going to be like in 10, 15 years. It'll be Westworld.
I think there's a lot of people who feel like we need a new technology to change games. And I think these are going to keep trying, but I think it's always going to come back to sitting with a controller or a keyboard and mouse.
I totally agree.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not forever.
I think, they tried motion controls. That was cool for a while. And then they realized, people want single player games again. Like the people they keep trying these new things, and it comes back to the fact that games weren't broken.
Like VR is pretty advanced now at the moment. Like why are we all not sitting playing VR games every night? I feel because there is so much that it takes out of you, putting on the helmet, being sucked into a world, that it does take a little bit away from you. You kind of
VR isn't a relaxing experience.
No, it's not a relaxing experience. Where I do feel like
it's fun, but it's not relaxing.
I think I'd be the same as you, Ed, and I don't think we're going to go away from keyboard and mouse, controller, that style. I think mobile gaming is going to absolutely blow up. I think that kind of more accessible gaming is going to just be massive, and probably something that people don't want to hear, but mobile gaming is going to take over everything, because it's just everyone has a mobile, everyone can take it out when they're in going on a bus travel or a journey. They can just whip out the mobile, play away. I think that is going to blow up. I am fearful, and this is something that I don't want to say, but I am fearful that we are going to get further and further away from our straight up AAA single player games. I think they are going to be far and few between in 10 or 15 years time.
I think we had one thing happen last year or 2 years ago that sort of will hold that back. Yeah. That Jedi Fallen Order game is way more important than people realize. Okay. That game was a game that was sort of put out there. They didn't put an awful lot of money in it, and it was a massive success for EA, to the point where they've literally said this game was a huge success. Third, AAA single player games is something we're more interested in now than we have been in a while. They have taken the online elements out of Dragon Age 3. It's going to be a single player, non-online connected game. That was originally supposed to be a live services game, and they literally, in that statement, they quoted Jedi Fallen Order as the thing that changed their viewpoint on how these things are going to be made.
And is there not like a little bit of damage control there? Kind of doing what the fans want to do. I totally understand, and I love the fact that they're doing it, Aiden, but I'm talking about in 15 years' time, where everything is going to be a service. Whether it's, Game Pass, or whether it's going to be, buying a game where you're going to have that game for 4 to 5 years. You may be putting money into it for 4 to 5 years, but I do feel like gaming is going to look a little bit different. The way we experience gaming, the way we play games, is going to be very similar, but the way we purchase games, the way the season passes, are so successful, more successful than any, you quote me if I'm wrong, but the service games are making a lot more money than single player AAA games. And as well as that, mobile games as well, in terms of money, is blown up as well.
I think that those things reach a critical mass.
Okay.
And eventually that, I think I agree with you. I think a lot of this will definitely happen. The services games for the next 5 years will be the big thing. Everyone's going to be trying to get their service game. But I think when these things happen, then something like Skyrim comes out, and suddenly people have made $2 billion on the sales of a single player game, and that changes perspective for a while. Because that happened with Fallout 4. Before Fallout 4, a lot of the companies, a lot of the major game publishers had a policy of, we're not making any big single player games. And then Fallout 4 came out, and Fallout 4 was incredibly successful. That sold so many units. You see, a service game is great because it gets you lasting revenue.
Yeah.
But be able to go, we put out a product and we've sold 7 or 8 million copies, and we have this big number on our sheet for the end of the year. That's real impressive with those metrics that those businesses like to use.
Is it more like, and I think it is more expensive to create a AAA game single player than it is for a game that you can develop over the space of 5 years? You know, the amount of money that you spend making a Last of Us 2 over a game like, say, Fortnite. I'm sure the Last of Us 2 takes a lot more money in terms of actors, voice recording, animation, everything that goes into a game like that. I just feel like there is going to be a time where they're going to look at how much you put into a game versus how much you get out. And I feel like single player games are the biggest risk out of all of those games, because as a service game, you can develop it, you can change it, you can try and influence like what the Avengers game is doing now. You know, they are trying to add new characters in, they're trying to change it up, they're trying to get a new audience in. Whereas if you release a single player game that has that structured story, there's not much you can do to try and, grab people's attention if you don't grab it initially.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you're making a single player game, it needs to be good. The thing that sort of surprised me over the last couple of years, there hasn't been any major failures of games. People tend to be making their money pretty well. There's a lot more risk starting a live services game than there is to making a big single player game, because a lot more of them fail.
Okay.
Like, there is so many battle royale games out there that they put money into, and a week after they're out, they have no players.
Yeah.
Was it Hyperscape?
Yeah, Hyperscape. Yeah, that sounds.
Then there was the Magic one that I actually quite liked. There was one where you'd mix
Magicscape games as well, wasn't it? Or
was it? I forget. Was it all these companies tried to put out their Fortnite killer, and so many of them fail, and that's the problem. I'm actually interested to see how Outriders does this month, because it's like directly going into the Destiny market.
It looks good. It does.
It does,
like
and I actually quite enjoyed the demo.
Yeah. Oh, you played it, did you?
I did, yeah. Yeah.
That's not the game that you're talking about in the April video.
It's not, no.
Because that's going to be 2 of us.
Yeah. The fact that that's going to Game Pass is amazing. Game Pass also changes things. We're entering a really interesting era for games.
Game Pass added EA and it added Bethesda in the space of 2 weeks.
And
people need to be taking notice of that if they're not.
There is an awful lot of talk about them trying to get Ubisoft's collection as well.
I actually don't think the game is going to be recognizable 20 years compared to now. I think it's going to be completely different now.
I think the idea of a Netflix is way more something that's going to happen.
But like I think you said it before, and you didn't believe the infrastructure would be there in 20 years. I don't agree. I
didn't until Starlink.
Yeah. Because
Starlink changes
even
everything.
You just listen to Elon Musk talking, and the stuff he's coming with and the stuff he's coming out with, the world is going to be completely different if he gets his way anyway.
He's a bit of a knob, but Starlink really
an awful
seems
knob.
Yeah,
he's very hard to listen to.
Yeah.
Genius is always weird.
Weird and obnoxious.
Very obnoxious.
He's a billionaire. I'd be obnoxious too. But he's a genius, and he's putting the world in the right direction, I think, as well.
The one thing I will say for him is he has no fear to try to do world-changing projects.
No, wasn't he? They put a chip into Monkey's head, and he was able to play. Was it Atari, and be able to play games and everything like that? They were no bother to them, and they're out there doing control.
This is that supervillain shit that I'm scared that he's going to try.
But he's on about that, putting into chips into people's heads. They're on about bring it in the next 5-10 years.
This isn't getting better.
It doesn't make. I know, but that's progression. Unfortunately, that's a progression.
All of a sudden, we are Elon
super
Musk's
geniuses,
intergalactic army.
Yeah,
as he goes out
to believe it.
The universe.
I just don't. I think a lot of stuff's going to be unrecognizable in 20 years. I know they're probably sitting there in the 80s saying that, but I suppose it is a bit unrecognizable compared to like the way the technology moved forward since the iPhone and stuff like that.
Well, we've reached the limit of that Murphy's Law. We aren't advancing as quick as we were. Like, it used
Murphy's
to be
Law, not what can go wrong will go wrong. That's Murphy's Law.
Yeah, what's the computer one?
I don't know. That's Murphy's Law. That's Plumber 101.
Yeah,
that's Murphy's Law. Day one, that's what you're taught.
Yeah, there was a thing in computing where every 18 months, speed doubled, size halved, and that we've come out of that recently, and we're not advancing at that rate anymore. So I think things will slow down. We've seen that. What you're saying, that there's no real, the graphic difference in the PS4 and 5 is nowhere near what we've nowhere near what we've experienced.
I think maybe it's hit a plateau in certain ways, but in other ways there's still a lot way to go. Like there's stuff they're studying that haven't been studied before, and
there's,
you know what I mean?
The thing, there's not that much to go with semiconductors, because we're nearly at the point where we've gotten as small as they can go. We're at 6
but I don't mean technology wise. I mean like information wise, or getting things across quicker to us as human beings, not necessarily better graphics cards or anything like that. I mean, completely different.
If you're going to get, if you're saying we're going to like plug a thing into the back of our necks and go into VR worlds, I'm all for that.
I don't even necessarily mean that. I mean chips. I mean stuff like healing people with chips in their heads, or put brain things back together like they have been damaged, or stuff like that. All that stuff is very possible. I think that's the way it's going to go.
That's something.
Nanotechnology, whatever the hell you want to call it. All that kind of stuff. I think that's the way the future is going to go, not necessarily graphics. And we have gone that far as much as we can. Our eyes can't see what pixels, certain standards. You can't see it anyway. So it's like, it's bullshit.
Our eyes.
Yeah, it's bullshit anyway. So you know what I mean? There's no point going that way.
But doesn't that, like, to bring it back to video games, does that not tell us that we are not going to deviate too much from what we're doing now?
I don't think so, but not necessarily with us. Maybe us as our generation, I don't think we're going to change. But like generations down the line, I think they're going to have a different perspective and they want things differently than we do. Same as even the generation below us, they want.
But the generation below us, and the reason
that now anyway.
Yeah,
but the reason why I'm saying about mouse and keyboard still being a thing in 30, 40 years time is keyboard and mouse has been there since the birth of the PC gaming world, and we have never got away from that.
Yeah. The PC game is not that old,
and it's still
20, 30 years old. Yeah. I know it's not old, but we're talking about 20 or 30 years into the future.
Well, last week we said the future of gaming. That's what I have in the title here. I know 20. I was kind of thinking like way. It
definitely makes a difference if we're talking 100 years.
Yeah, it definitely 20 does. Years. I'm kind of thinking more further than you are.
100 years we're at Sword Art Online.
But I'm thinking further. I'm thinking like 30,
100
40.
years is we will not be allowed to say anything, out of the ordinary. We'll have a chip. We were talking about this the other day.
I think but I don't think that. I think with the in that left-right wing thing, I think it shows over generations that it balances out. You go right wing one generation, you go left wing the other generation, right wing it goes back because you keep fighting each other. So I don't know which way it's going to be then. Honestly, you had the 60s and the 70s, and the hippies brought it back to left wing, and then the right wing brought it back in the 80s, and then do you know what kind of way? And we're going back the other way now.
In 100 years' time, if we haven't developed into a post-capitalist society, the world will be on fire.
Fair enough.
Yeah. That's the way it's getting that way, isn't it?
Moore's law, Mike says.
Moore's law.
Moore's law. Thank you.
What's Moore's law?
That's what he's about.
Computing power would double and the size halves every 18 months.
Okay. And that's stopped.
That can't go forever anyway.
We've reached the end of it. We have reached the end of it.
Wow.
But we're at that level for a long time.
What does everyone think in the chat? What do you think of the future of game and holes? Like, I mean, there is a difference when we're talking about 20 years, which we'll get to experience over 100 years, which it won't bother us because we're not going to be around to see it. But I do think VR is going to be more widely used. I even see a lot of streamers now using it for sim racing. They'll always have the headset on. So I do think VR is going to be used, and not just in gaming, but for a lot of other aspects as well.
And they on about them Google glasses now as well, aren't they coming? Are they already out?
That's the Apple are making AR glasses.
Yeah, the glasses. Like you have your glasses on there now, Ron, and you'd have people's social media on them, and do you know what kind of
I
stuff?
could see that be it. Massive,
easy.
Definitely.
100%. If Apple's doing it, it's 100% going to be successful.
Like, look at people; they have their watch now, and it might as well be a chip connected to them. Like they have their heartbeat. Everything is on that watch.
Their data.
The Apple Watch has more computing power than the computers that took us to the moon.
That's so they always say that. It's like, it wasn't that hard. Go on, Pat. You're dying.
I'm terrified of the future slightly. Just looking back on the past, because recently news is saying that the servers, like the PlayStation Network, the store for PS3, PSP, and PS Vita is going to shut down this year. If that's true, that's a lot of games gone. Like so many games gone, like thousands of games gone. That like, where are you going to get them? And this honestly terrifies me because
no one has it.
But even things like that. But like, you can even look at games like Driver San Francisco. It's already, you can't get it anywhere unless piracy, which
The true game
that's going to probably true games preservation. Yeah, what Aiden said. This, I think this needs to be looked into, because another part of this is that the DLC behind these is going to be lost. So even if you go out and buy physical, you're still missing part of the game. And this is hurting me slightly, because I love games. I love playing them complete when I'm so addicted to them. And the fact that like so much could be gone like that there is heartbreaking.
But we've gone through that before, Pat. We've gone through that with Nintendo, with Sega, and then people just create emulators for it, and then we can experience those games again. And then what happened was we had that big influx of games that were remastered, and we went through that whole, I think it was like first year of PS4 where we had remaster, and people were sick of it. So I don't think, games are going to be lost forever. I know it's a total bummer. I have a PS Vita, and, to think that I can't just jump on and download Persona 4 Gold and play that is a big bummer. But I do think that is an issue that we do have to deal with in the digital world, where nothing is forever.
Major one.
Yeah, but just on the fact of emulators, they're not 100% all the time.
I know they're not. No, I know 100%.
So
it's not the same thing.
So
do you know what brings them on an incredible amount? Stores closing. I'll tell you this now: the development of the Vita emulator in the next 12 months is going to be mental. When things like this happen, the people that are passionate about this put in their best work.
Yeah.
I think that if you own the place on your PlayStation, I don't think you should be allowed to wipe it. If that's what they're doing, that's
what happened with the Wii. That's what happened with the Wii. You can't even re-download the games from the Wii store.
I suppose that's the problem, is you'll have to store it yourself, won't you? On your own your own devices. You'll have to figure out a way to do it. But that's the thing. If maybe you can make your own discs, Pat.
Well, like just taking this like video game at this stage, I think a lot of people are starting to see that it is an art form, and other art forms have their forms of preservation. And I feel like this should start coming to the forefront, especially when 3 consoles are going to lose their whole backlogs. Maybe.
What about bringing it to film? Would that not be the same thing? Like, there's a lot of stuff. Films aren't being released on DVD that much anymore, and Netflix, or what if they don't get the rights to them? They just evaporate into thin air.
I know, but like data online.
Surely a lot of these games are brought into the PS5 store. Like, surely we can get a lot of these remastered.
There's a lot of them that you can't. There's games in the PS3 store specifically you can't. Metal Gear Solid 4 won't be available. That's gone.
Is that because people aren't supporting them?
You can get it on a disc, but there's no other way to buy Metal Gear Solid 4 when the PS3 store closes.
Like,
Bushin
even
within game, and it's very tough to keep supporting games 5 to 10 years after release.
Yeah.
Well, what like, it's not supporting them though. It's just leaving them on a store for people to download.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all. But
it's not really the developers supporting those games anymore. It's
kind of hard though if you leave a game sitting there, and I might have had like maybe 100 downloads in the last 4 or 5 years. Like, do you know what I mean? Some of the games probably nobody's getting them. I understand there is people that do want them, but it's not thousands and thousands and thousands of people.
They then make preserving them so difficult.
Yeah.
That's the
I agree. There has to be something that,
because there's a couple of really good game preservation societies. There's one is the Heritage Foundation. There's one in San Francisco. They do a lot of good work. They have so much stuff, but if a company like Sony would allow them to sort of get the DLCs is the thing that's going to be, there's specifically, this won't affect now, but we're talking certain games from that generation came out, and the DLC that came out for that game is the best part of that game. Like Minerva's Den for Bioshock 2, for instance. Those sort of things could be lost to time. Because even getting those...
It's a great point, Pat. Like, it is really a big issue that is... It's hard to find a solution, because we've gone through it for the last couple of years with emulating Nintendo games, and then Nintendo release, what was it, you could play old Nintendo games on the Switch, So that was kind of a step in the right direction of being able to actually play those games without them being emulated. I don't honestly like emulation because I feel like saying that you have 5,000 games there, from the Super Nintendo, it's just not the same feeling as having the actual system or even playing those games on a Nintendo system. It's just not the same.
I think even on the PS3 side things where like they started to resell PS1 games and even some PS2 games, those games had work put into them to make them a bit better running on the PS3. And they're official. They're going to be gone because you can't get them on the PS4. You can't get them on the PS5.
So will this be something?
If it's just closed,
will this be something that they'll do with the PS5? Will they not say, right, we need to do something with these games? Let's make them available on.
No, Sony has always been very clear that they don't really care. Jim Ryan came out and recently.
Well, it's more so that what's his name? Oh, the fella that's had a Jim Ryan. Yeah. He has come out with some horrible quotes. That's a man I would want to punch in the face.
Yeah.
He's basically said,
I disagree with
one quote. There's a quote where he was at a Gran Turismo tournament and had all the Gran Turismo games there ready to play. And he said, I looked at the old games and said, who the hell wants to play these? And that freaking annoys me. Because he's basically just going to his own company that like, oh, we made these games for our legacy consoles, which are part of us, but I don't give a crap anymore. They can go in the bin. That's basically what he's saying. He's throwing it.
So is it his choice in terms of?
Yeah, he's head of PlayStation.
Maybe the way everyone is going with the cloud services and everything, that maybe that in future that nobody's going to own games at all. It's just going to be renting them.
That's a completely different issue. So it is.
But that's what it's probably going to be. That's the way it's leaning. Like, if it was now, just say the world was digital right now and they had all these services available and then everyone just used that service, you don't really own the game. You rent the service for a month, you turn it back off, you turn it back on, they get rid of it.
That can only happen if we allow it.
But it's going to happen, Ben. It's going to happen.
And not if people stand up and don't allow it. Like,
you can't control companies.
Well, they've tried that so far with Stadia and it's failed miserably.
Yeah. Again,
people do like owning. Even if they're only owning a license, people like owning their games.
I'm just saying it's going to happen probably. That's the way it's leaning.
It's a strange one.
I'm not saying it's just the way. That's probably what they're thinking, the way they're thinking of it.
Yeah, if you care about this, the Video Game History Foundation, people should look them up. They do a lot of good work.
Michael says Sony would want to follow Microsoft's approach to supporting previous gen games,
which has been excellent.
Like, honestly, guys, and I'm going to go out on a shoe here and I've had argument after argument after argument with my fanboy Sony friends.
Say what I think you're going to say.
I think Microsoft have a really good opportunity to really push this generation because I think it's going to be very, very interesting in terms of last generation. It was all about the games. Sony had a massive collection of exclusives that were really ahead of the game in terms of any system, including PC. I think Microsoft are going to come out all guns blazing this time around, and I think they're doing it in the background. We've seen them buying over Bethesda. They're spending so much money. There's talk of them now buying over Discord. I think that deal is actually done.
It's still in the talks.
It's still in the talks for 10 million, isn't it?
Discord also might go public.
10 million.
Billion.
Oh, sorry, 10 billion. Yeah, 10 billion. And Microsoft are really making some serious moves in the background, and I love to see it because you want competition. Okay, Sony are kind of sitting back a little bit. They've released all their big third party or first party games at the end of last gen. They're in a little bit of hiatus at the moment, including the pandemic isn't helping things. But I think this is going to be a big generation for Microsoft. A big generation.
I always don't understand the focus on that conversation of Microsoft versus Sony versus PC versus everyone. Just
competition is good.
I know, but no, I don't. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I do agree with that. But the conversation always people are arguing about. It's just like buy them all. Who cares? Just play whatever you want to play. I'm not saying. Yeah, I do.
I agree with you, Ronan.
Yeah,
I've seen it already this generation,
and I would count myself as I've had every Sony system for the last whatever years, but I can always appreciate when people are making good moves and trying to really just do their best to get back into the game.
I have friends who couldn't get a PlayStation, could get an Xbox, got one, and now they're like, I'm not that pushing the PlayStation. I have Game Pass.
Yeah, it's and there you go. Like Game Pass it's something that's kind of creeping in. It reminds me actually very similar to what Netflix did. Netflix was almost a joke at the start. You know, you paid whatever it was, some very small amount of money. There was a couple of movies on it that you used to know. Nothing really original, and then with that money they built and built and built up this collection that, you know, can you really go without Netflix at the moment? No, I can't. And I think Game Pass is going to be very similar to that.
I appreciate that, like, every month new games get added to the backwards compatibility on the Xbox. You can get games like there's a lot of Xbox original games, like almost most 360 games now run. It's like an incredibly impressive library. I think it's the biggest library at the moment. The new Xboxes have the biggest library of games of any console that's ever been made because of all the backwards compatibility they have.
Wow.
And they're all on the store. They're all purchasable.
Skate 3 is on that, isn't it?
Yep. Skate 3 is on Game Pass.
Oh, it's on Game Pass, isn't it? Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so is Fight Night Champions.
Brilliant.
Oh,
look, it's definitely going to be an interesting year. Like, and I do hope Sony do start making some moves in terms of what games we're going to see for them. I know, obviously, you have the big hitters. God of War is going to be sensational. But what's going to come from Naughty Dog next? What's going to come from Kojima's studio? You know, is it just going to be Death Stranding 2, or is it going to be something?
Is Kojima's studio going to be a Sony game? They're not, like, Sony published and funded Death Stranding, but they're not officially linked.
What did Oshin just say there?
But then again, that counteracts the point that you don't own any of the games on Game Pass. If never will happen, Microsoft go down, those games go with it.
But you can buy
that could happen
as well. Like, they don't stop you from buying them if you want to own a license.
Yeah, like you can even buy them physical. Some of these games, like the re-released, like I know, like you see Red Dead Redemption for like Xbox One and all that all the time. Yeah. Like it's an incredible job they've done.
Just support them all.
How much is Game Pass now? $10 a month, is it?
13,
yeah, it's 13 for third, and it's 15 if you want Ultimate, where you have the PC, Xbox, and Xbox Live Gold.
All these services.
What point does it counteract, though? Are you talking about
the one he's saying, yeah, basically what that you're saying Game Pass is great, but he's saying that you don't own them then, but you're supporting Game Pass.
But you don't really own any digital game that you have.
You own a license.
And all my games are digital. So
you own the license. You do own the game technically.
Yeah, they can't take that away from you. You own a license.
Yeah, you own the game for that. It's like owning them. Look, Sony owning Spider-Man for a certain amount of time. The license.
Also, the one thing I like about Microsoft is they're kind of unkillable. They're so ingrained in worldwide business that
got a lot of money
bring them down. Yeah, they are.
Do you think Sony can take it down?
I think Microsoft could buy Sony tomorrow if they wanted to.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they really wanted to.
I think so too, in terms of money.
Yeah.
They wouldn't let them though. I'd say somebody owns a lot.
Japan probably wouldn't let it happen. Japan are very particular about their companies, but Microsoft are big enough that they could buy Sony with their pocket change.
Well, I'd say Microsoft likes having Sony around. It is, as you said, it is good to have competition.
It's fantastic. I wouldn't like one big hitter, to be honest.
And Phil Spencer's been pretty clear with that. He sees it as a healthy competition.
It definitely is healthy. Yeah. You have to have competition. It's more the conversation I'm bored of, not the not the competition itself.
What I'm bored of is just the unnecessary console war talk, where it's like I'm Sony without giving you any sort of backing of why I'm a Sony fanboy.
But to be honest, like if you put an Xbox in front of me and a PlayStation in front of me, and then turn the games on with me not having the controllers, I can't tell the difference. Like, you know, there's no differences. It's just.
But I think the point you're making is something we agree with. None of us are like fanboyism.
No, I don't like it at all either. I just don't see the point. I think it's silly. But people just, and to be fair, people like having a little bit of a dirty old argument. But unless they go too far,
it can be fun sometimes. Like the whole console war.
But as someone who's always had every console, I've always found, and it's. Yeah, there is fun, but there's also not a lot of obnoxious assholes who's like they bleed the color of their console.
But to be honest, the reason I always go Sony is because it just reminds me of good times as a child. Like that's the first console I properly thought of as my gaming console. Even though the Nintendo 64 came before that, just PlayStation hit different, and that's why I always go PlayStation, because it just reminds me of it. You get stuck, don't you, in your patterns? That's just the way it is. I've owned every console though. I've owned every Xbox. I've owned every PlayStation.
I don't have a favorite over the two companies. I think I went like PS2 and then 360 was my favorite, and then PS4 last generation was my favorite one.
Like I'm dying to get some of my mate Mark and one of my mates, like my childhood friends or whatever. I'm trying to get their on Xbox. I was like, I just come to PlayStation because I know I'm going to get, a PlayStation 5 or whatever. They said, no, I don't like the controller. And that's it. That's the only reason. It's like,
that's a very valid reason.
Yeah, it's like I like the Xbox. Not to me. I don't mind the different controllers. Just pick up and play. I never thought I'd play with a game, keyboard and mouse, but there you go. It's easy now. I'm like Shroud.
If anyone who doesn't anyone who's ever thinking about buying
Elite,
a controller,
that looks beautiful.
Baby. It's the best controller ever made.
Pro player now.
Not even close.
But and like even having that conversation, we're talking about, in the very close future. It is amazing that we're still in an era where there is two big hitters, and we have like you got to put the Switch. You got to put the Switch in there as well.
Nintendo is like a massive hitter. Like the Nintendo Switch is selling freaking fantastic.
The only difference
the Switch
with Nintendo,
Lite has outsold the Wii U.
Wow. The only thing about Nintendo is I feel like they're a little bit out on their own in terms of
they don't give a fuck.
The audience that they attract.
They like being out there though.
Yeah, they're Disney. They're video games Disney.
Like a lot of people will have a PlayStation or an Xbox and a Nintendo Switch. I feel anyway. I may be wrong there, but
I would if I had the money.
And a lot of people will have a Switch and a PC.
Yeah, I've been there from the start.
There's always been a lot of people that have the Nintendo console and a PC.
Microsoft buys Sony, Disney buys Microsoft, Google buys Disney, and then Stadia might be worth it. I don't think Stadia will ever be worth it, but anyway.
Oh, cannot see it happening.
No, not when Microsoft are bringing out xCloud, and I mean even the PlayStation version, the PS Now, is it, or PS Now? That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine.
They're all very much in their infancy. That's the thing, is they're only starting. You know what I mean? You give them 20 years to see what it is.
What Oisin's saying there, most people will just go with what their friends have. I've always said that there's only two choices. There's only two questions you have to ask yourself when buying a console: does it have the games I want to play, and do my friends play there?
Yeah. Are we Halo fans, or are we? What's on PlayStation that's like a full-on multiplayer game? That's exclusive. Nothing.
Well, back then,
Uncharted. Uncharted had a multiplayer.
Last of Us 2 console. Or
some of the WWE games would have been good back in the day.
Yeah.
Pro Evo.
Pro Evo was a big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Any of the old when you're back then.
Not on Xbox.
No, it's not exclusive. It's not. Exclusive.
I'm just saying, but when you're playing multiplayer games, they would have been thinking of them. Console wars.
In my head, I couldn't see an Xbox Evo cover. Pro Evo cover in my head. I couldn't imagine that for some reason.
Yeah, the Xbox 360, right?
I think anybody that I've ever known who's played Pro Evo has had a PlayStation.
My first online experience was in college on an Xbox 360 playing Pro Evolution, and it was phenomenal.
I don't even know. Remember what my first experience? I think it was like COD or something. Probably. I don't even know what it was online.
Yeah, that was my first console online experience, where I just plugged the LAN cable into the back and it worked. I was like, "What is going on here?" First day of college, I was like, "Oh no, I'm never getting through college." Yeah,
I think there's a lot of. I think people find it very harsh to talk about the future of gaming. I honestly do. I even find Pat or something like that. It's very hard for people to talk and think they've changed, and I understand it is hard, but things have to change and things are going to progress. But
things can change without things being lost.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Kind of.
Like no, 100%. It definitely can. That's why the Video Game History Foundation, they're and as well as that, archive.org has like, if you want to find, there's a archive there of every PS1
fantastic
ROM.
website, actually.
So you're always going to have that, but that's good. You will always have. Even the people that make them, I think, will want to produce, would like to keep them somewhere. I don't think you want to throw them to one side. Not everybody's as harsh as your man is. Obviously, he's corporate.
I think a lot of people now working in games dev are going to like be backing up source code and keeping it when they leave these companies. And because I find now we're getting to the stage where a couple of these games from like 15 years ago, the source codes are getting out there, and I think people have just been keeping source code, and I think that's going to be a thing that's going to happen in the future. Where
ransom your source code. I've got your
source code. Just a lot of it gets released and preserved. Yeah, I found a great torrent on archive.org for all of the big fat quiz of the years recently. It's fantastic.
That's sight, dude. I haven't been on it in a while. I'm going to check that out.
It's great.
You could literally spend hours just searching through it, like, and finding just the weirdest things.
Oh, I had the biggest dilemma
What's it
recently.
called?
Archive.org.
Archive.
You can actually set up an account and just save stuff on it for free.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, it is public,
weird.
but like you can literally just save whatever you want.
I went to see Old Crow Medicine Show in Dublin in like 2014, and I was desperately trying to figure out who the band that opened for them were. So I went on archive.org and I used the Wayback Machine to get a Vicar Street website from 2014 and figured out the band.
Nice.
It was great.
Just feels like anything you do online is not safe.
What's fun about
Ian is looking for it.
if you haven't been on archive.org, it looks like a website that was created right at the start of the internet being created. It's just, it really is a lot of fun.
Looks like
to go
Reddit.
onto. A little bit. Like, it's a little bit easier to use.
It has
than
a
Reddit.
thing. It has a thing called the Wayback Machine, which allows you to enter a website and it'll give you save states from different time periods of that website and let you see it from different time periods. It's really cool.
Wow.
That sounds pretty cool.
It's excellent.
Pat, you'll be able to go over there in a few years' time.
A lot of people that post like horrible racist stuff on the internet and then delete it get caught because you can go on our archive.org and find the old post.
And how does that work? Is this a completely storage and all the
Yes,
time?
they take, it's like the 300 or 400 most popular websites and they take like snapshots of them at certain time periods.
Brilliant.
Jesus, must have serious storage.
Definitely one to check out. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's the world's biggest internet archival project.
There's everything from history to music to even video games are there. Like there's a lot of stuff on it that's just worth just diving into and checking out.
Someone has archived like every PS1 game on it.
It's all public access, isn't it? You can just download whatever you want.
And they'll make a torrent for you.
That does sound illegal.
You
don't own the licenses, so it has to be.
Yeah, no, I'm sure the stuff on it, you know, if people are uploading games that are licensed.
The existence of a disc image isn't actually a copyright violation.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It's because it's just a disc image. Like I think it's actually different with like old
Power ISO.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
Old games where you have like a file with all the things of the game, but a disc image is literally just like almost taking a photograph of the disc, and that gets around the copyright laws.
Yeah, you need to use a virtual. Don't you need to use a virtual drive to?
Daemon Tools.
Yeah. It's Power ISO. What was the other one? There's another one.
Daemon
Tools. Yeah, you said it. Yeah,
Daemon Tools.
Yeah, Daemon Tools Lite.
Yeah, you gotta actually like virtually add the disk drive into this program, and then it'll just appear in my computer as a disk.
I said there's so much stuff there. You go through things like that for weeks and weeks and weeks, and probably still not get through it.
as a college student, I pirated a lot of games.
You've admitted a lot tonight in this podcast.
I've never been shy about that. I've also given the gaming industry most of my money.
There you go. There's a little bit of take. There's a little bit of give, or a lot of give.
Well, it's not enough.
Yeah.
And then I find as well, there's a load of games that like I pirated when I was younger that have been re-released in the past 5 years, and I've bought again. And I'm like, you know what? This vindicates the bad thing that I did.
Would you rather own digital or physical?
Physical.
I know you would.
Yeah. I like having. If I own physical, it's almost never to play. I like having physical games that I really, really like. But I've been amassing a collection of digital games for years. My retro folder on my computer is like 700 gigs.
Are they still making DVDs? Are they done?
Yeah. Well, no, History Blu-rays are still coming out.
They never really had a chance, did they?
It's a big thing in the anime world.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's that mean?
Gotta be digital for me as well.
It's like paid too much for Blu-rays.
Oh God, you're not one of these Blu-ray people that try to convince everyone else that you're better than people.
Oh no.
with DVDs.
It's just for animation, the colors pop a lot better in my opinion, and I just buy them, but they're like so expensive for anime.
I always felt that Blu-ray
how
drives
expensive they
were,
are.
you know, that neighbor that has that new fancy car that wants to bring everyone round to see. It's like, look at my new car. Like,
That was wrong last week.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, Pat. Blu-ray anime on Blu-ray does look good. Also, they touch up episodes after they air before they go on Blu-ray.
They mustn't make a lot of them. That's why they're really expensive. No, maybe
It's where the money is in that industry.
Is it the DVDs?
Yeah. That's where the money is in that industry.
Magic Disc, that was another one. Yeah,
That's definitely
I know them
hidden
all.
money.
Actually, talking about things being expensive, if Sony does shut down their PlayStation stores for those consoles, physical games are going to go up a lot. So like
Physical games are going up a lot.
If you're going to buy physical games, probably start for those consoles anyway. Start buying them now before they become unattainable.
Is this confirmed that they're shutting down the stores?
It's rumored so far, but like
I seen it every week, all week. So I knew it wasn't confirmed.
It was so many places that a lot of places that picked it up wouldn't have picked it up unless there was a pretty good chance it's true.
But surely, like if there's a lot of kickback from this, Sony might say, "Look, we need to do something about this. Let's make a collection of the
like we're
top
saying,
100 games or something to put onto the PS5 store."
I don't know.
Maybe they could open a classic site as well. Get them here if you want. Like if they think they have a chance to make money, and then they make like make it a what you call it? What's the word for it? That it's hard to get it or whatever anywhere else in the world. This is where you come and just get it if you want to.
Even PS Now they could put on as a kind of a.
I don't get why they don't do that.
Yeah,
I think
is
a lot of the time is that they don't own a lot of license to the games anymore. Is that the problem as well?
Yeah, to a certain extent for older. Yeah,
like games that have.
You don't want to pay for it anymore, kind of thing. Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto with the music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But not even that. It's like
is notoriously anti-legacy. That's the big problem.
Even with older games, let's say like a company owned them, that company probably maybe went under, so you can't actually go back to them and get that game.
But that's it too. You have to pay music licenses, and all that.
Oh, music licenses, yeah, that's true.
Music licenses are a real tough one. Like the licensed music's a real tough one.
I just wish like Sony would make a PS5. Like I wouldn't care if it's a few £100 extra, but like it just has backwards compatibility. You put the disc in and it plays it. I wouldn't care. Just if they could do that, that would be deadly. Because like
I'd say Sony will listen. I know a lot of it. If they see it's working with Xbox, especially, they will kick it into gear and say, you know what, we'll bring it to you. I know what you're saying. Maybe your man won't, but that he won't always be ahead of it or as well.
I hope. Yeah, that's one thing I hope. I do hope the PS3 store specifically is an impressive collection of games. That store has a lot, and it'll be real.
And like I wouldn't be listening to what you see in the media too often as well. If they see something controversial, you will see it everywhere. You will see it every news outlet that's going. And even if it's a rumor, like if it's a controversial rumor, you're gonna see it. So like until it's confirmed, I wouldn't be worried about it too much.
But the backlash when it came out that the PS5 wasn't going to be backwards compatible with PS1, 2, and 3 games was huge, and they did not.
How far do you go with that though? Like, are we going like PS7 and then you go PS1? I want to play PS1 games. Like, how far do you keep going with this backwards compatibility?
Yeah, that I would. The way computing is now, especially, it wouldn't take very much for those to run. So I would have every game be backwards compatible.
Even like PS10, you'd be like PS1 to PS10, all the games.
To me, that's a marketing slogan. Then it's like play every PlayStation game ever.
I just don't think it'd be there. Like people would still want to play it.
That's what Microsoft's doing.
I know, but we're not even that. It's not that many generations now. To be fair, it's not that far up. It's in our It's in our lifetime. If you get me. So like, it's not that hard. So we would want to play them because we've been playing them our whole generations. Not some people would want to play it. That would be say 20 now. That want to play a PS1 game, but not as many as we want to play.
But those games are so small. Like when a generation moves ahead, the old games are so small that the storage for them isn't even like that.
PS1 games are awful looking now. Like awful to play as well. They're so clunky.
Oh, but that style, man.
Some of them are.
Jesus, some of them are. Holy hell!
You should play.
There's a lot of them that. A lot of PS1 games are.
That game still feels smooth. Call McRae Rally is still a smooth feeling racing game.
Yeah. Oh, Comic Rally's freaking deadly.
Like a lot of PS1 games ran at 60 frames per second, and PS3 games didn't.
Some of them feel clunky to me. Don't be getting offended, right? Calm down.
That's my opinion.
Calm down. That's my opinion.
I'm not saying there's no clunky games, but just to say that all I think is reductive.
A lot of them.
Oh man, draw distance though. Like if you said that, like I'd agree with you wholeheartedly. Draw distance is like freaking awful on PS1 games. Like you're looking at like literally 5 centimeters in front of you is black screen. You're like,
I'd find it a lot easier to turn on a Nintendo game, like a SNES game, than a PlayStation 1 game, and I'd feel a lot more comfortable playing it.
I would actually, I can agree with that. Sprites look a lot better than early polygons did.
Yeah, definitely did.
But like, there's something about that PS1 like, aesthetic, though, lads. It's
especially,
just so nice.
Get us out here before they start fighting with us.
Especially in PS1 games. Final Fantasy 9's a really nice looking game.
Them games are developed
Final
very
Fantasy
well,
is great looking.
They're
Driver actually ain't bad either.
Oh man, Driver 2, the actual character model.
No, I'm not like the graphics are a little bit blocky, but I'm telling you, in terms of gameplay, Driver is very good.
Driver, I always go back to Driver because it's so fun to play.
I wish San Andreas was easier to play because that is clunky, and PS2 that is clunky as hell.
That is a clunky game.
Oh god,
there's some real good mods that help for that.
I hope that's a brilliant game. I love that game. I want that one.
What a game!
Silent Hill, great, but I want them to remake that. I don't care. Bring it out again.
I used to play. There was a really great online mod for San Andreas. I used to play. You like stick 64 people in the map and just mess around. It was great.
That's what Irish dad said. I just remember when you first seen PS1 games. Wow, it was so realistic. It's so true. Look at Tomb Raider with her pointy tip.
I was thinking
we were going from Sega to PS1. It was a big jump.
I remember when Siphon Filter came out, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Siphon Filter was unbelievable.
So real looking. Siphon Filter looks awful.
The target system, where it's kind of you have to wait for it to.
Oh, the PlayStation 1 definitely has its place. It definitely made that transition, which was we all wanted. It was well worth it. Like it has to be. You have to give it that props for it.
See, that's another reason that
Metal Gear Solid, the original.
Those games be preserved. Is the PS1 is maybe the most important console, because it's like it definitely it popularized polygons to the masses. It changed the way games were made.
Yeah. It did make a transition. It definitely has its place. Very well.
You're saying Metal Gear Solid 1. Unfortunately, the best way to play Metal Gear Solid 1 is through the version on PS3, which won't be available.
It might be available again.
Why won't they release all of them in one bundle?
It's confusing, so it is, because like they have these. Like I'm assuming they wouldn't, but not even that. No, but like even the other PS1 games.
What do you charge a game, or do you just charge it the same as in your?
It was like
buy them again. Do you want to buy them?
Maybe €7
PS1s for like between 5 and 12 quid
each.
Yeah.
Keep
the
real disc.
Keep the real disc, yeah. Like that they're expensive.
Yeah. Especially the more well-known PS1 games.
Expensive? Oh my god. Oh man, like things are way too expensive. Like even looking at PS Vita right now, like I'm trying to rebuild my collection because I was a fool and sold it off. But like even just normal games. I thought
Vita games have always been quite expensive. Like they don't usually go on sale. And I find the same with this. Well, Nintendo are kind of notorious bad for sales, aren't they?
Yeah. Vita, when it's like second or so year when it wasn't doing very well at all, you could get games for like 20 quid new if you looked in the right places. But now if you went back and looked at those games, you're paying like the full price now.
Yeah.
Second hand.
They never really got updated after a certain point. It kind of just got forgotten about.
How much are the early Trails games now?
Oh geez, don't. Oh man, don't.
They're really bad, are they?
It's a brilliant little handheld, though. Like, bring back the Vita.
I was wondering about this. Do you think Sony ever make another handheld?
No, say never.
Surprise me. Like,
I'd say it could be in this generation again. The last couple.
But this, like Vita, did like what 12 million units altogether, and most of that's from Japan. Like that's. They're not good numbers. Like PSP did like 80 million.
I think since then the Vita has gotten so much positive press since it stopped being a big thing that I think they might eventually go back to it.
The old COVID might have stuck it back a bit since a lot of people are staying at home these days.
N-Gage. I actually had that phone. Does anyone remember the N-Gage phone? No?
I didn't have an N-Gage. I had a Sony Xperia.
You had to hold it sideways, like it's like out here.
There is a website that's still up called sidetalking.com. And it's just bad photos of people using the N-Gage badly.
Well, that's the way you're meant to. It's not using it badly. Yeah. That's the way you're meant to hold it.
Yeah. I think it's ridiculous. Still up. Side talking.
What's it called? Yeah. Side talking.
Sidetalking.com.
Sidemen.
Let's have a look at this for a bit of a laugh before we head off. Sidetalking.com. Oh my god, look at the
Rather than talking about
the
future,
site.
We've been talking about the past a lot more, haven't we?
This site evolved into people having other things for engages.
You can't have the future without the past.
True. Very true.
In the digital world, Pat.
Did anyone ever have a Sony Xperia Play?
Yeah. That's the one that you can flip up, isn't it?
It's the best one I ever owned.
There's Roland.
I drove over mine with a car. I was so
there's me with my Engage back in the day.
Taking your class. Look at I can play on this.
I remember having FIFA on it. It was so frustrating to play.
Did you have the one that you had to take the battery out of to change the game, or did you have the second one?
I think it was the second one because I don't remember doing that.
Yeah, the first one you had to take the cover off and then remove the battery in order to change the game.
God.
There's been a lot of great consoles. Learned something new. Brother got me Howl's Moving Castle Cowboy Bebop and Sprinted Away on Blu-ray. Just thought he was trying to fancy my boys would look at the PS1 game for 5 minutes.
Those are 3 unbelievably good films.
Yeah, Twin Snakes. I actually played that version on GameCube.
That's
very
really
good.
expensive now.
I thought you were getting something, Pat. Were you getting something there?
I was actually looking for my. I don't know where I put it. The phone's somewhere. Okay, it's somewhere.
Pat's just going to pull out like an old iPhone and say it's old.
My favorite phone I've ever owned, and drove over with a car and I was heartbroken.
It's somewhere, lads. I know it's
somewhere.
somewhere.
What the car for?
I got a new phone this week. iPhone 11. It's actually nice. Very nice.
Very nice.
Happy with it. Very nice.
As I was getting into my car, it must have slipped out of my pocket.
I can do the exact same as the iPhone 7. It's great.
Only faster.
It's got more memory.
It's got a better camera. Like every other. Oh, it's unbelievable. The marketing for iPhones is just crazy.
iPhone is the best marketing ever.
Yeah,
I will say their cameras are pretty incredible.
Yeah, there is. This camera is really good.
It's their software. Their software is so good.
Every year, isn't it?
Yeah, the software they put in is so good at making people who are.
That's right. Where does it stop?
Good photos.
The Wi-Fi adapter in it is unbelievable. The speed of it is quality, and it's a great camera. So if you have €800 spare,
yeah, it's after bringing up my productivity. Wait, no, it's after bringing down my productivity.
I'm using it all the time to look at crap on the internet.
Productivity.
Like when I first got, I was like, I'm going to be making little home movies and I'm going doing sketches with the guys. But I do want to do more of those sketches, Pat. Now I'm equipped. Okay, we need to get back to doing sketches.
We'll have a round table meeting of trying to make something humorous.
Yeah,
try being the big word.
Exactly. So if you have any ideas in the chat what you want us to do, might be funny. We could maybe do something about lockdown. Maybe it's like lockdown coming to an end and you're kind of going outside and it's just bright, like the sun hitting your eyes.
Like I'm bright in here, never mind there. That's what I was thinking of there when I used to Gillette. It's like the razors, even closer, closer. Next year your head will be shaved off. Like how many blades does it need?
Is it Lee Evans that does that joke?
Yeah. Right. Even closer.
I always remember
these razors you speak of.
I think it was one of the razors. It's the marketing line was "free your skin," and I'm like, that's awfully ominous.
I was actually watching some of it Mary earlier before it came on. Lee Evans is in that.
Lee Evans is.
Lee Evans isn't that?
Yeah,
he is. Yeah.
It's like one of the only. He's only like one of the only films he's in. Yeah, he's one of the guys. He pretends to get. What is it? He actually gets his back broken so he can go and see Mary. she's a doc doctor or whatever.
A doc doctor.
Yeah, doc doctor. She's one of them ones. You get back to her there on. My mouth is dry. I ran out of coke. It's time to end.
It's time to end. Let's get out of here, guys. Where can the good folks find you, Paddy?
Donegal. You can find me wherever you see their. No, I'm not telling that. Aiden knows. Don't tell him.
I don't know what that place is called.
It's beside the football pitch. Anywhere you see the Republic players or anywhere you see buy and play. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Paddy. Aiden,
you're welcome.
Where can the good folks find you?
Just follow me on Twitter. It's at the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah. Right below you. Nice one. Thank you as well for the name tags, Paddy. Some nice work put in. We're trying to up the production value of the podcast, so we're getting there. Pat, where can the good folks find you?
If you want to find me, you can find me over at Twitter at PatGonMador. And you can find me on the YouTube channel for the Republic of Players. Big content there.
So right here where we're watching.
It's right here, right now. Yeah, this
hit the subscribe button, guys.
Even this is content. So you're watching the content about me speaking about content. So that's content.
Yeah. Content is
And
Yep.
if you want to go over to my YouTube channel, I decided to start doing actual comic dubs. So you can find me there at Pat Curley if you're interested in that stuff.
Awesome.
Okay, in the description sure as well. After this show, because it's not there now.
Find us, actually, do jump into the stream tomorrow night where we will be playing It Takes Two, EA's new video game, same development team as A Way Out. Going playing with my good friend Oshin, he's in the chat. Do check us out around 10 o'clock over on the Twitch channel, the Alpha Fox TV. We're starting to, be on the community an awful lot more. I know myself anyway. We're starting to get that really active, and it's going really well at the moment. So please do head over to the Republic of Players community on Facebook and join us there in the conversation. Very positive as always.
They're a great group of lads.
Yeah, really, really fun group.
PlayStation fanboys, Aiden says.
Yeah. And yeah, just please like the video and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And tell your friends that we do this every week. We'd love to have more viewers and more people in to have a chat about video games. We'll chat to you at the same time next week. This has been the Republic of Players episode 90. And we'll see you for 91 next week. See you later, guys.
We're so old.
Good luck.
Bye.